Hi, happy June. So, we still have plenty of June left by the time that you get to see this. And what June is bringing for us is tremendous fluidity. We've gone through spring, the burst of energy, the coming out again after the long dreaming time of winter. Most of us have had those seasons. And June is about incredible fluidity. All the intensity that we've had going on in the last couple of months, you already know this, it's going to just keep increasing and things are going faster and reactivity can be stronger. And really the way through it, especially for June, is it's sort of like the bridge into July and August when things will soften a little bit in a particular kind of way. I'll talk about that in a minute. But June is about flexibility and fluidity. So you might notice that things will change in your schedule several times in an hour, or that by the time you've got to the end of your day, you feel like you've lived, a whole week in one day. That kind of fluidity is really important. For those of us who have control issues, this is not a time to engage that. That is not a time to insist that things go a particular way because it's set on your schedule that it would. Not at all. We're all about fluidity in June. So what does that mean? Fluidity means, can we be adaptable? Can we go with the flow? Can we rest and relax with what's happening, even if it turns around several times in 10 minutes? Perhaps you have a plan with a friend and you're texting back and forth and that plan turns around 3 times in a 10-minute window. That's normal. And that's kind of how it's going to be. For those of you who are parents, if you have a toddler, you'll notice their behavior. They're heading in one direction 1 second. Their attention is about 30 seconds long on something, and then they boom, go that way and turn around and go another way again. And that's how the energy is spinning in June. It's like, we're going this way. No, we're going that way. No, we're going to do this. No. And it seems like there's this conductor, this universal conductor that's just having a whole lot of fun changing our plans on us to see how fast we can keep up. Kind of like the game of musical chairs when you're a kid. The music goes slow, there's so many chairs, and ultimately one kid doesn't get to sit down and that kid's out. We could take that as a cosmic metaphor for June. The music is going to get faster and faster, and there's so many chairs for relaxation. And if you get uptight, get into your control issues, if you insist that things stay the way you set them up for the day, you're out of there. So how fluid can you be? In terms of relational fluidity, you're talking with someone and you have your buttons pushed and suddenly there you are, all triggered, you're getting hot under the collar, and you're wondering why they're not noticing that you're getting steamed up, or they're not apologizing for what they just said that got you angry. And it's very interesting in a moment like that to notice yourself. What is happening in your system? What's going on in your mind? What do you think they said? What do you think that means? What does it say about you? Why are you taking it personally? What gives validity to your perception and your reaction to them in what they said? It's a time to be really fluid with ourselves. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? What are we believing? What are we sensing in ourselves in relation to other people? And remember, other people are highly stimulated too. So if you're sitting with someone and they say something that triggers you, before you go into reaction, take a few deep breaths and tune in with your intuition and wonder what's going on with them. They may not know they said something that triggered you. They may be having a very intense day and they're uptight and they're short on patience, and so they're short with you. June is a time to not take anything personally, to stay as fluid as you can in relational ways and mostly within self to see what's going on. With your own nervous system, are you uptight? Are you speedy? What's happening with you? June is going to train our nervous systems to be that flexible and adaptable and fluid, and not in a grumbly way. You know, like for example, I can be fluid, but I can grumble about it. Like right now I have to change my direction again because this just came up. And what I've learned to do is be fluid and be either neutral or curious or even playful about it. Like, wow, that got turned around 3 times in the last 5 minutes. Interesting. And delight in the playfulness of the chaos that's going on right now. This is really good for us to get used to because July and August are going to bring a very deep thrumming kind of presence where, you know, that stuff that you tucked down there way deep that you're thinking, you're kind of feeling good that you haven't had to have contact with those deeper thrumming emotional body feelings. Yeah, well, they're there. And July and August are going to be more of a deep pot kind of stir. So we're coming out of this high pitch, constant intensity, overstim world to learning to be fluid and go with the flow to diving deep and having all of the other conditions still existing. So there'll still be stimulation, we'll still need to be fluid, there'll still be a lot of chaos, and the deeper ocean of our emotional bodies will be summoned to rise to the surface. Only it will have a bit of that particular emotional body time will have a bit of a slower feel to it, a thicker jello-like feel to it. Not blocks, just a slower, more thick quality so that it takes more to go in and see what's happening with ourselves. So I and the guides are highly recommending a sense of humor. If nothing else, reach for humor. If you're in relationship and the relationship is wobbly or you're fighting or arguing or you're breaking up and getting back together, really take a look at your intentions for yourself. Really take a look at where you want to invest your energy. Is it worth your time to do drama? Really investigate that for yourself. If it is, if it nourishes you, go for it. But if part of you feels like, I'm really done with drama, I really don't require to be yanked back and forth by my own emotions anymore, then really consider being firm about your intentions and how you take care of yourself. If I keep referring to arguments because I'm seeing so much of that going on around me, if you're in the middle of a overstim conversation with someone that's going in the argument direction, you have the capacity to say, pause, freeze, I want to take a break from this energy dynamic, I'm not liking it. And it doesn't have to be filled with blame. It doesn't have to be, you're making me mad. It doesn't have to be, I can't believe that I feel this stuff in me again. It could be something as simple as pause or freeze, I need to take a break from this dynamic. I feel like I'm not handling myself well. I feel like I'm not showing up in a loving way for either of us, and I just want to step out of the energy and step back and take a break. Can we pick this up, when you make a date in an hour or this evening? What time would you like to pick this up again? And give yourself a break. Give yourself some space to be tender and compassionate with your humanness and the other person's. So fluidity is key. Be gentle, be compassionate, be curious, be introspective, meditate if you can, once a day at least would really be helpful. And be very clear about your heart's intention. If you're here for the purpose of love, then get behind yourself and make sure you're acting on behalf of love in your life. A lot of people feel like they're at the mercy of their feelings. We are not at the mercy of our feelings. Our feelings can arise, they can feel overwhelming. We don't resist that, we don't judge that, we don't make that wrong. We don't resist it. So if we feel at the mercy of our emotions, it's either because we're judging ourselves for having them or because we're resisting feeling them. If we remain fluid with our emotions, they will rise. They may overwhelm us for a few minutes. We may cry, we may laugh, we may feel overwhelmed. And as long as we stay fluid, it will pass. It will move right through and keep going. And then we have clear space again. So my wish for you for June is clear seeing, clear feeling, clear communication, and clear action. and that you'll take the time to meditate, even if it's a few minutes each day will be helpful, and to remember, curiosity creates spaciousness, fluidity creates movement, and peace can move in the space in you and in me and in all of our connections if we will stay in the heart center where all of our loving essence can be felt by us and be given out to everybody else. So this is a short reading for the month of June because I need to be fluid because I have so much going on. That's the amount of time I have for this. I will be sending a full newsletter out more toward the end of this week in June. There's just so much going on that I didn't get to it. I value you. Thank you for watching, and there'll be more at the end of this week. Blessings. Stay fluid.